Yes. And let's keep it aside from a diagnostic aspect. Let's speak from your clinical trial aspect. So, artificial intelligence. In fact, we met at a conference which mainly takes over in clinical trials, artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
So, from your end, how is it used in your clinical trials, and how is it is helpful? Like in terms of recruiting the subjects, finding the subjects, and cost cutting, time saving. These are all the stuff where you can overcome with the help of AI. So how you see from a clinical trial manager aspect this artificial intelligence?
Yeah, that's a really good question, Raja. I would say AI saves you a lot of time,
Mm-hmm.
increases efficiency. So there is definitely cost saving there, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you have large databases, it becomes very easy. Sorry, with the help of AI,
Mm-hmm.
change the parameters you want.
Okay.
This may be while going through your inclusion and exclusion criteria. This may be going through some administrative work.
Yes.
This may be just checking, like just answering somebody's question depending on whether they meet a certain criteria or not. So
Yes.
right now there are processes in place, like a person asks a question, the question goes to probably CRC. If CRC doesn't know the answer, or if CRC has like a protocol of 150 pages, he has to
Yes.
go through all of that, find the answer. And if he doesn't find it in the right time, you might lose the patient. And
Exactly.
this becomes very important if you're
Mhm.
working on a very rare disease clinical trial, right? You definitely don't find those many patients, and all the big pharma and biotech spend a lot of money in patient acquisition cost.
Million billion dollars they need to spend.
Billions, yeah.
Yes.
So you definitely don't want to lose the patient, but at the same time, as a human, you cannot be that responsive. So all these AI chatbots are coming into picture over there,
Hmm.
which can actually give you answers within minutes, right? Like within
Yes.
seconds, probably, not
Seconds.
even minutes. So that is one of the like blaring truth that AI is gonna um, give you answers very quickly as compared to a human going and finding, I don't know, 200 pages, reading everything. AI can sort that out. AI can help you sort the data in a way it simplifies your problem, right?
Mhm.
So you don't want children in your trial. You can just ask AI, hey, just remove children. You're good with the remaining database. There
Mhm.
are actually private companies in the market there who are helping with patient recruitment and using AI models to customize how and what kind of patients you need.
Yes.
So definitely AI is coming in clinical trials, and
Mhm.
AI is actually um, helping build your data sets also,
Okay.
in a certain way. You can ask AI um, to maybe like a check mark, like if you're putting a wrong number, like you're putting like 120 years in the age criteria. AI can
Okay.
actually say that, hey, it's wrong. I mean, normal, there are like checks which we can place, but
Mhm.
like the checks are only very numerical. Sometimes they're not going to be like emotional checks,
Yes.
I would say like very small difference they won't be able to pick. But AI
Mhm.
is very good there. AI can go ahead and check those things and mark at the same time that, hey, something is wrong. The CRC gets an idea at the same time, right? Hey, you have to improve something, like something happened, um, if the calculation goes negative,
Mhm.
it will just prompt you out, right? Hey, this value doesn't make any sense because now the calculation is negative, or
Mhm.
something like that. I'm just giving examples, random examples. But yes, AI can automate a lot of things in clinical trials, and that is actually going to save a lot of money to companies, sponsors, CROs, everybody.
Yes. In fact, in last time when I attended a conference, there is a guy like coming from a CRO. He
Mhm.
said that like one of the pharmaceutical company in performing a rare disease clinical trial, they invested like $1 million in recruiting the subjects itself. That was I like thought, okay, what's like when they are going with this much of money, so why don't they incorporate some other tools or else some techniques so it will like concise their budget, like not spending millions
No,
of dollars over there. And one more thing, like moving apart from this academics and all the stuff, I guess you graduated in the year of 2019. So At the time it was like start of the COVID, so one of the pandemic, biggest pandemic I say. So you see, how did you see at that point of time, how your approach to getting into industry or research assistant, and
Yeah.
how did you see the Boston at the time?
Yeah, no, that's those were not good times. I would not lie.
Hmm.
I graduated in May 2020.
Hmm.
Actually, I finished my courses one sem earlier, but I took a non-credit course and extended my course by 6 months.
Okay.
Um, that was necessary. Like, it was February or March 2020, I think, and the COVID was coming. Everything was shutting down.
At peak
Uh,
level, yes.
yeah, and as an international student, many of the people here in the audience might also recognize it's tough if you don't have a job on your OPT.
Hmm.
And things were not good, but I would say you still need to figure out where you can contribute more, and I think like building relationships in your career is always very important.
Hmm.
um, I wouldn't take it as like academic versus industry approach,
Okay.
because it's tough to say, who can have a position where you can contribute.
Yeah.
And it's nothing against industry or nothing against academia. Everyone is doing their own job. It's just what you can get, what you want to do, and what will benefit you in your future. So
Okay.
in my case, in many of my friends' case, the industry was completely shut, and it's anyways very difficult to get into industry when you are a visa seeking candidate, and all the OPT, CPT, and like H1B stuff lies
Mhm.
ahead of you.
Yes.
um, I would say it's not easy in
Okay.
industry anyways. At least in my experience, it's not it was not easy back in the days when COVID was there.
Hmm.
But I think this is where your relationships with your professors, relationships with your school officials, your academic relationships matter. Where
Hmm.
you can at least get a sustainable job, where you can contribute, build your experience, and then you can switch to an industry.
Okay.
When you feel you can contribute that much to an industry, or when you learn enough so that you can get your foot in the industry.
Okay.
Academia, I feel, is a very good way to enter any branch, I would say, at least from the healthcare side, I can speak.
Hmm.
Uh, Academia gives you a lot of exposure and you learn a lot.
Hmm.
Academic rigor teaches you, um, I would say, a lot of discipline, also gives you a lot of basic knowledge.
From the root level.
Yeah, from the root level, exactly.
Yeah.
And it opens your doors to industry.
Okay.
And that's where I feel, you know, a lot of people talk to me for the career coaching and guidance, and a lot of people actually, tries to make a lot of money early in the career, and that's why they try to jump to a bigger company, or maybe like in an industry.
Hmm.
uh, I'm not saying not everybody can do it. There are people who are doing it, and like they're doing good.
Hmm.
um, but if you are not one of them, then definitely don't hesitate to go to industry. It's a very good experience. To academia, sorry.
Hmm.
It's a very good experience. You will learn, and after learning you can definitely go to industry once you're ready.
That's good. And one more thing, when I'm having an earlier conversation with you, you said like your first job and your interest decides your career. So how do you define that?
Yeah. I mean, people do pivot at different points in life
Okay.
if you really don't like it. But
Hmm.
actually, your first job gives you a basic strength to, enter the market.
Okay.
Um, what I'm gonna say is your first job actually gives you an insider view of how a branch works or how industry works.
Hmm.
And then if you really like it, the career opportunities will come for you, or like you will hunt them down. So in that way, definitely your first job plays a major role in where you go or what you end up with.
Yes.
But to be cautious, you don't have to stay in the same realm if you don't want to. Like I know many friends who started in clinical research, switched to med affairs, never liked med affairs, went back to MBA schools, and now working in finance. So
Hmm.
it's not like bandit kind of thing like you have to do. But if you really like many people I see like take the clinical research path, become CMOs at their life. Like there are
Yes.
many of my friends, or like seniors from the school, or other people I know from the industry.
Mhm.
They took a path very different from other people, and they are still becoming CMOs. So it doesn't have to be the same thing you have to do. You can definitely pivot, but when you start in something, it becomes easier to grow up in that chain. At least
Mhm.
that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
That's good. And one more thing is like I thought like it was a ready question right now. So
Yeah.
mental health is one thing. So when you see an international student perspective, so there will be some lot of ups and downs in their career, like in this whole 2 years of master's journey, and later on while entering into the industry. So there
Yeah.
will be challenges, ups and downs will be there. So
Yeah.
when you headed to your masters, that is one of the biggest task for you and challenge for you, and later on pandemic, that was one of the biggest hit for you,
Yeah.
and transforming from academy to an industry, another challenge. So at this point of time there were a lot of ups and downs in your career and life. So can you have a word on the mental health, and what is the one challenge you faced and one happiest moment you see in your career?
Yeah, that's a really good question, Raja. Um, yeah, not many people talk about ups and downs in I am like international students' life, but there are really. Um, but I would caution, like if you're coming to United States and you're coming from a lower middle class or that kind of family background
Mhm.
in India, student life becomes really tough. And I've seen many people. I myself have gone through that. Uh, it becomes really tough to
Mhm.
manage so many things at one point. And if you have savings, if you have worked back in India, it
Mhm.
actually puts you at a good level, so
Okay.
that you get time to study here in US when you come for your graduation. But unfortunately, the currency difference will come into play, and that the money you make there won't be enough here. So you
Yes.
also have to take that in consideration, and definitely finances play a big role
Mhm.
when you spend so much money studying for a master's degree here. I see many influencers on LinkedIn, who are specifically talking about how to manage your finances when you are a master student. And
Mhm.
I feel that is a necessary skill, because you are going through a lot, basically,
Yes.
a culture change, a finance change.
Exactly.
Probably many students also have debts on their portfolios, and then if they that do create a kind of pressure from the financial side too. And if your financial background from the family side is also not that well, then definitely that also plays a role. The education system is a bit different, very practical approach to
Yes.
every problem we see. If you are not a native first English language speaker, if you are coming from, somebody like me coming from a Marathi or Hindi background,
Mhm.
have learned in, like Jilla Parishad schools and stuff like that, then it
Yes.
becomes a little bit tricky to
Mhm.
understand a certain specific level of English with that accent.
Mhm.
I mean, you will get habitual of it. It's not like there are many people.
Eventually you develop,
Yeah, you develop it. But specifically talking about ups and downs, I talked a lot about downs. Maybe I should talk a little bit about ups. Um, your small wins matter a lot. Your first job, maybe as an on-campus server, on-campus diner. I was a cashier back then.
Okay.
Um, those small things matter. Like that is your first win, and do plan to celebrate those wins, because those
Yes.
wins give you more motivation to grow in future. That first internship, that first TA, that first RA for a professor you like, your first break on a maybe like vice president of some international union, like
Student
student.
organization.
All those things do matter, and I feel like, in India it's a little bit different.
Mhm.
We focus a lot on studies, and the
Academic
networking
stuff.
culture is not that
Yes.
is kind of like looked upon over there. And in India, but networking do matter.
Mhm.
You learn from people. People actually are a good source of knowledge, and then you also contribute to a community, right? Um,
Yes.
and in a way, you build your support systems when you grow in your career, and that support system and the community, I feel, helps you. Um, so that is one of the friends you get, obviously. Um, Many people who are living in US might understand this better. Like, you get a feel of loneliness when you come here in US as compared to
Yes,
India.
exactly.
You have so many friends, right? Like, I think Raja is connecting here. So friendships do matter, relationships do matter here.
Yes.
um, yeah, so those are like ups and downs, which usually I feel the most hard part is your student life, especially if
Mhm.
you're not coming from, very well-to-do family kind of stuff. You're basically working probably 20 hours a week. You're doing 4 classes. You're doing all your homeworks, exams.
Yes.
You also need to spend time for networking. You're doing a lot. So probably I would say, um, first year or so is when you are like new to the country. You're like accommodating, like acclimatizing to everything. That is like a tough period and lots of downs, but then like
Mhm.
probably after a year or so you will start getting ups in your life. Yeah.
Exactly, that's what happening with me. Like
Yeah.
when I entered this university and United States, I felt like, what am I doing? Am I worth to be here? And all this stuff. Right now, since 2 months, like last 5 months of my period of ending my graduation, I was
Yeah.
enjoying much with this weather and the college life. I feel like, oh God, I should have like got some more days to spend over here. So even I'm planning to do like, why shouldn't I go for the second masters? That's what I feel. I
No,
feel
yeah,
like
no,
I'm
I
missing my
agree. And
school.
that transition is also different. Like when you're in school, you have so many friends, you have a culture, you have group, and then when you go out and all your
Yeah.
friends, disperse, then it becomes a different
Mhm.
kind of culture. So that is also a shock. Pretty much, many people enter into,
Yes.
um, because then you can't meet your friends on a daily basis, right? You're having a cup of
Yeah.
tea every day with your friends at their place or your place, but that's not going to happen from the next day because probably
Exactly.
somebody's going to move to Chicago, right? Somebody's going to LA. And that's
Yeah.
not going to happen with you anymore. So, yeah, a little bit of,
That's one of the hardest part. Like you're moving off from your best friends is one of the hardest part.
yeah,
Right
yeah,
now I'm at that phase.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I agree.
And one more thing is like, what is the one pro tip that you would like to give to our audience who are students or who might be entering into the healthcare field? So
Yeah,
one pro tip
definitely.
from your end.
I would say, yeah, I will give tip, but I think it is also depending on your, luck. I would definitely like to mention my first manager. Basically, her name is Sloan Phillips, and I really, I'm very grateful to her for giving me the first opportunity to, enter the industry. And your first manager matters a lot. I feel.
Mhm.
Um, Obviously, you learn a lot because you're new. First
Mhm.
of all, you're not habitual of working things,
Yes.
so you're pretty much dependent on your manager, and your manager does matter. Coming from personal tips, I would say, be hungry,
Okay.
hungry to learn.
Mhm.
I would say don't say no to anything because you don't know what you want to do yet. I would say be hungry for knowledge.
Mhm.
Um, Try to be grounded. I would say, um, be realistic also in life. Like sometimes people just want to go to meta right after the school. Some people can do it, some people not. You understand like what you can do. Another pro tip is consistency. You have to be consistent. You're not going to get your first job in your first interview. That is very important, and that is one of the questions a lot of people ask me, like, hey, I'm getting a lot of rejections. Man, I applied like 500 jobs and I got like 460
Yes.
rejections now. Yes, it is going to happen, unfortunately. That is the truth. But you have to be consistent. You just need one job, you don't need 500 jobs. So you have to do all your attempts and improve, learn. Every interview, every application is an
Yes.
opportunity to learn.
Mhm.
Learn from it. um, And yeah, I would say everything will fall in place at one time.
That's great.
Thank you.
And one person or a couple of persons whom you would like to thank in this whole journey?
Oh yeah, definitely my first manager, Sloan, as I said,
Yeah.
she has played a pivotal role in my life from the
Mhm.
professional side. Obviously, my wife, she has played a very important role in my life, and my mom, unfortunately, she's not with us anymore, but I
So,
do miss her every day.
mhm.
And I am here because she was there. Unfortunately, she's not with us anymore, but yeah, she has played a big role in my life till this point.
That's great. So good. And thank you, Pratik.
Yeah,
Thank you for sharing your valuable insights. Like we talked about your journey at Boston University and artificial intelligence in healthcare, and how did you go with your hurdles and your first job, and pro tips, ups and downs in your life. This was a great session. So thank you for uh, giving your time and all the way being here and sharing your insights. Thank you so much.
yeah, definitely. And thank you for taking the time to interview me. I loved the interaction and definitely happy to help.
Probably
Thank
we
you.
might be meeting in the next section.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I would
Yeah.
love to. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye,
Thank you,
guys.
Pratik. See you.